Having followed up with quite a few of the people that now own some of these Bulla horses, to know that they are loved, they're healthy, and that they're going to live out the rest of their days in safety, it's as good as them going to the Olympics and winning a gold medal, given where they've come from.
Gemma Mackenzie's got a chestnut mare called Saffron, and first she took 2 of them, which was great because I knew she was a really good off-the-track trainer, and it was really interesting to watch Gemma and Saffron over the journey. Was I saw a love affair occur, and it was her Saffron and oh my girl, and you saw her do really, really well with her, and that makes it all worthwhile.
Saffron wasn't as malnourished as what Milo was, but she still had no top line, no bum muscle, and just quite harsh coat as well, so you could tell she still needed quite a bit of work. We went back to the very beginning once I quickly worked out she hadn't been ridden. So we went back and I, in theory, re-broke her or broke her again, and so we went through that slow and steady, and then started competing. Quickly worked out a few faults as well. We couldn't turn at a couple of shows and we ended up in the other ring, but that's okay, because I was like, oh, she's a rescue horse, it's okay, and she made for a good laugh. But yeah, definitely took it slow and steady and worked out very quickly. She was a very green horse and uneducated, but now she's what I would consider for me a schoolmaster that I just can't replace anymore. A lot of people know the Bulla story. They didn't know necessarily Saffron was a Bulla horse, especially a lot of people I compete with. So once they do know, they pay a lot closer attention to you, any awe of them. And once people do know, I take a lot of pride in telling people when I'm competing, if they say how nice she is, I'm like, yes, she's a Bulla horse, and people are just shocked. And they're so impressed, especially when they see her out in a big group, in the open, with kids around, other horses around. They're just shocked to see how well she's adapted to the life. Saffron and Milo are definitely part of the family. Milo doesn't currently live with us, but Saffron does. And she's there every day, twice a day, by the fence line, waiting just for even a carrot or a treat, but to be there. My kids know who she is. She just stands there and let them do whatever they want to her. And for them to be just a part of our regular routine every day, she's everything. And so hopefully she can continue on to be my daughter's mount if I share her, if I don't keep her for myself. But that, I think, will be it. I think I'll just keep riding her till she retires.
I know a lot of them, went through some rough patches in the first instances of taking on these horses, both, physically and also with some behavioural issues that were probably tied back to the experiences they went through at Bulla. But they've persisted, they've got them through, and yeah, it's incredible.
Contact in terms of with news was through the farrier Troy, who had an association with Horse Shepherd. He said, why don't you go and have an at it to Anne? Some of the Bulla horses are coming into work, and there may be a horse there for you that's suitable. He arrived back on the farm, and I had my mare here. That may have been an issue for him immediately because he does tend to love the ladies. But as time transpired, it was pretty clear that there were a number of things which provoked high anxiety responses, almost even aggressive responses in him. And Steph had a nasty fall off him, and we said at that stage, no, this is not right for him, and it's not right for her as a rider. So no, he has a number of kind of social anxiety issues, I guess you'd say. We have a deep commitment to him. He didn't ask for any of this at all, and I suppose I feel maybe a human responsibility for him, as that I am part of the cohort that led him to this spot. The fact that he's a horse and the fact that he's actually quite affectionate on foot makes him hard not to be committed to and to feel a real bond with. We used to talk about horses as giving you the possibility, a potential that you didn't have on your feet, and that they had a possibility to rescue you, to take you places, to give you strength, power, whatever, that you couldn't have otherwise. So love the horse for me means you care for and you commit yourself to. There's a covenant between me and my horse.
The adoption process started for me by contacting my vet because I saw him on the TV, and I just casually said, look, because this was right early on and I had no idea what was going to happen with them. I said, well, later on down the track, if you need a home for any of them, I'll probably take one or two. So they put me on to Anne from Horse Shepherd, and she rang me and said, come and have a look.
Sally saw the chestnut mare at the vet clinic, asked if she could help.
The 3-year horses, I took one chestnut mare who was called Zuma. She was my favourite. She was the eldest. She was 21 when I got her, and we had her put down last year at the age of 26. It was just her time. She was tired. But she was the most beautiful natured horse, and anyone that met her just loved her. She was easy to do anything with, and out of all of them, you think, how on earth could you not look after this horse? Because she was so trusting and sweet.
To be in those kind of homes, right, these are show people, right? These are, you know, great, great homes for them, and makes our job easy.
Grey mare, she was 19. Her name's Call Response, and yeah, she's really good to do anything with. She's easy to catch, as I said before, because they've raced. They've done all that side of things, and nothing really phases them as far as general life-to-life things. So, yeah, she's happy.
I am superstitious because I had a superstitious mother. And so, you know, I got raised. You don't walk under ladders and you don't pick up drop forks and, you know, all this kind of stuff. So Sally wanted this horse. He was a big horse. And I think, you know, he had a real presence. And I remember saying to her, ooh, he's number 13.
When I decided on taking Bulla and went up to him because he had a dog collar or tag on, and looked at his tag to note down his number. And she looked at it and she said to me, oh, you may not want this one. I said, why? And she said, oh, he's Bulla 13. Are you superstitious? I said, no, I'm not, so that's fine. Anyway, as it's turned out, perhaps I should have worried about the number 13.
I think the superstition might have come true a bit, right? Because he is a bit of a handful.
No, so you can all go further up the street. Come here. Here, Bulla. Now you can see why I can't catch him. He was literally skin on skeleton when I first saw him. And you see him now and he's very round. He's been living in 20 acres of grass and he'd be flat out losing 10 kilos over summer. So for him to have been skeletal is really saying something because, yeah, in horse terms, he's a very good doer. So he's not one that I have to feed at the moment. Maybe when he's 20, I will be.
Anne has the most amazing passion for horses and horses in her care. Here, she works very long hours. I'm not sure whether she's mentioned there's over 100 horses here at the moment, but her passion is just incredible, and her level of energy, like just to what she does from day to day, and the kindness.
Hey, Edie. What are you doing? You're just eating. You got a kiss? He came as this ram because he'd been bottle fed and he had no fear of people. So when we castrated him, because we got the vet to do it and they knocked him out, when he woke up, he's terrified of sheep. So he won't have anything to do with sheep. And so he thinks he's a llama. He must have had some weird dreams. Just so beautiful. And that's all your girls, isn't it? Hey? Big Grey. So we had Big Grey and Little Grey. As you can tell, when you start getting, you know, 120 odd horses in a 6-month period, you really get short on names. So Little Grey's gone to a fantastic home. She's now called Buttons. But Big Grey's Big Grey, and Big Grey is in love with, we've got a big standardbred who was one of the very first horses that came in, called Shaq. He looks after her, he calms her down. Come on. I love the fact that she's younger and fitter, but she walks at his pace. Like, he really slows everything. If she gets pressured or she doesn't understand, she's got a massive flight reaction. and she has no sense of her own self-preservation, let alone anybody that's in the way.
You're a good boy. You're a good boy.
We've got Mr. Bones. He's got the most beautiful head. The great news is that he's got a home he's going to be going to shortly. Someone from the racing industry with race horses, and felt that if there was one that he could help and give a home to, so that's fantastic. Cohorts, who was the other foal that came in, she's super sweet, so in time we'll get her broken in and probably rehome her or put her out on lease.
Good girl.
You want to go and have a look? Do you want to go and see that camera? And then the last one, I think, is Sunny. Sunny's interesting because Sunny is the only Bulla horse that wasn't branded. He's now an uncle to our young colts. He teaches them manners, you know, tells them what to do, teaches them respect.
Oh, you're silly. You're silly, Tester.
Hey, Sunny, here he comes. Hey, Sunny, you want a pat? But we don't rush them because what we're finding is the ones that are difficult, that their behaviour's modifying, and as we spend time with them, obviously, they're getting easier to handle, and we haven't rushed them. So if we're going to talk about the Bulla horses, like their story is as much a story about failures, but then about survival, and then later on, revival.
Horses, for me, very, very much are a symbol of an ability to transcend one's limitations. They have a pride and a prestige that is beyond us for humans.
I'd hope, you know, when we look back at it, that we've just got we realise how bad it was, but we got a far better appreciation for how much we should be loving horses. We can't ever take that for granted. We did take it for granted, and I really hope that we just never do it again.
Definitely the horses are the heroes in the story for me, but also Anne Young for taking such good care and taking on so many, but everyone that cared for them, the people that provided the trucks to go and rescue them, from the vets that stayed up, anyone who cared for them tirelessly on end, all the people that got them to the point where they can be now, and the people that have then taken them onto their new homes as well. But definitely the horses shine through the most.
To save these horses was an amazing collaborative effort between Racing Victoria, Horse Shepherd, volunteers, people who donated money. If you put all of that together, it's that organisation, that love of the horse, that was the most driving thing in the factor of saving these horses.
The Bulla story is the favourite story. You'd argue the Warwick was a larger seizure, but the Bulla horses, for whatever reason, and maybe they're thoroughbreds, the Bulla horses are really special. It's just something that was kind of magical. That's the Bulla story, those horses, for sure.